Hi there, welcome back. So this is the third final video in our sequence of videos where we're making bowls. It's supposed to be autumn, fall themed, and we're going to use this lovely big mould. Look at these gorgeous, these are little pieces of, I think they're called power shell, P-A-U-H-L. They're gorgeous. They come in these lovely little containers as well, and as usual everything we use in today's video will be linked in the description box. Going to use our favourite green pigment, beautiful moss green artisan mica powders, and one of these two mica powders as well. I haven't quite made my mind up. Also going to use some of this, which is just bits of crushed glass. We bought this from a shop called Dunelm Mill, which is a retail shop over here in the UK, but you can order it online and you can buy it in varying different sizes, but this is what it looks like. You see, little bits of crushed glass, not sharp to the touch, so you don't have to worry about cutting yourself. Now, you're going to use these individual silicone measuring jugs. We're going to add the mica powders and the bits of PowerShell to them, decant in some resin and mix it up. So here we go. I've made some resin up, 1-to-1 mixing ratio. Oh, and spilling it everywhere. Yeah. Not so good. This is when using a flexible mixing jug is not such a good idea, but I did clean it up. So first off, we're adding in the Vista pigment, beautiful, lovely green colour. So giving it a good splodge of the pigment into there. Love that term, splodge of the pigment. And then just using a stir stick. This is just a mini popsicle or wooden stir stick. Just to incorporate the pigment into the resin, making sure it's stirred thoroughly. I did stir it quite quickly. Obviously, take your time and yeah, stir it in. Make sure it's all thoroughly mixed. Look at this. I love this colour green. I don't know if you'd call it sage green, maybe. Here we go with the second one, and again spilling resin. Not so bad this time. Oh, thank gosh for that. Dear oh dear. I do love my big flexible mixing bowl, but it's not always ideal. So this one we're going to add in the Arteza mica powder. I think it was called moss green. This is an absolutely gorgeous colour. It is the mossy green colour there, but it's got a bit of a gold mica shimmer to it, if that makes sense. If you haven't watched our previous two videos in this collection, then why not check out our playlist and have a look at them. If you're new to watching us today, hello. Why not consider getting a YouTube account if you don't have one already, and subscribe to our channel. It's free. It's free to have the YouTube account. It's free to subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up. You can also join us in the live chat because our videos are usually set to premiere. So we're there, the three of us here at Lottie Jasmine Designs, ready to chat to you whilst it's going out live. So if you're in our live chat, hello if you've joined us. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to do so. And hello to anybody that's watching us that's taken time out of their day to do that. So here we go again with the other one. There's probably a little bit too much resin in this one, so I'm just pouring some back in. There we go. Yeah, we definitely don't need as much for this one. But we're going to opt for the Arteza mica powder. And I think that was either chocolate or brown or salted caramel brown. But as I said, everything will be linked down in the description box for you. Also down there, there'll be discount codes if we have any for any of the usual suppliers that we use. We usually only have them, unfortunately, for Temu. That's a long-standing one. Sometimes Panda Hall, although I think that one may have expired now. And we do have an upcoming collaboration that we're doing with a company called BB Craft, but that might be a couple of weeks off yet, I'm afraid. And there'll be an unboxing video for the items that they have supplied us with. And then we'll do videos incorporating those, what we've bought. So in this final one, we're going to add in this beautiful PowerShell. So we've got to put a little bit of resin. We don't need loads for this one, although I think I have put too much in there already. I can tell you that for now. Added in the pieces of PowerShell. I hope I'm saying that right. I love these. You can get them much bigger as well. And if you can't get them from the stockists that we link in the description, then they're usually, these sorts of things are usually available online from places such as Amazon. Or if you're lucky and you've got a really good crafting supply shop near you, whatever country you're in, then why not, you know, see if they've got it. They may actually stock it or something similar. There we go. I still love the mother of pearl shell plates, they called them, or pieces that I used in the video before this. And again, if you haven't seen it, check out the video, have a look, and you'll see what I mean. I also use those mother of pearl pieces in some different videos of ours too that we've recently published. So that's that one mixed too. Now then, right, here we go. So there is too much resin in there. I wish I'd had more pieces. I do add a few more, but to be honest, in the grand scheme of things, it still really wasn't enough. And I didn't have enough in the right colour tone to them, because the rest of them that I had had all been dyed. So they were like purple or blue or vivid, pink. They weren't the colours that I wanted, because these have got almost like a greeny tinge to them, and being the fact are sort of going on green and chocolate brown or copper colours, that's really what I wanted for this. So unfortunately, the finished piece doesn't have as many pieces of the power shell in it that I would have liked, but the end result is really quite lovely. Here we are. And here, now this is me adding in that white crushed glass. Now, the overall effect in the finished piece, again, this didn't really do exactly what I wanted. It probably needed to be bigger and just different, because although I was going for a bit of a geode themed, well, I've given it away there, sort of bowl, it hasn't had the effect that I wanted it to have. More will become clear when you see what I mean. But yeah, I mean, you stir this into clear resin and it almost completely disappears. It looks a little bit like slush. You know when snow and ice have mixed together? Does that make sense? Yeah, snow and ice have snow's melted a bit. It's a bit icy as well. And you've mixed it together, and that's what this reminds me of. Or if you've ever had those slush puppy drinks, or is it called shave ice in the States? I think they have it with flavourings and things on it. Obviously don't eat this because this is chemicals. But to this as well, we're going to add some of this. Now I call this my magic glitter. We got this from the range. I don't think they still stock it, but you know, we'll pop a link to the range. The range is a retailer over here in the UK, and they do lots of things for crafts. But I call this magic glitter because it looks white, or it looks the colour that you think it is in that tube, that glass bottle, and then as soon as you pour it into the resin, it dissipates quite a bit. Now, I don't know if it's going to pick up on here. I'm afraid you're probably going to have to take my word for it, but there was a bit of a sparkle, a bit of a pop of a sparkle there. Now, this is from Temu. This is a beautiful gold mica powder, and this was used for detailing bits at the end before I let it completely cure. Now, again, had these have actually stayed in the way that I put them in, they would have looked stunning. They didn't, but that's okay too, because the finished pieces still look stunning. And yes, I did say pieces with a plural. I've only shown you one mould currently, but what we have decided to do of late is anything where we've got leftover resin at the end, we then make something useful with the resin. So it could be a decorative piece, it could be a coaster, it could be a bowl, it could be some things that you would then use to make earrings with, or bangles perhaps. We've made some bangles recently. But yeah, you'll see what I make with it. And we don't make any of what I've just said with the leftover resin. So hopefully you're still watching. Hopefully you've made yourself nice and comfortable, because this video is a full 30 minutes in length. It's another long one, peeps. Yes, it's a long one. So hopefully you're relaxing with something that you like to drink. Nice It's almost hot chocolate weather, isn't it? Cup of hot chocolate, mug of hot chocolate, maybe some marshmallows and some cream. And talking of cream, to the rest of this lovely resin that I have here, I'm adding some of this Let's Resin white pigment paste. And I gave quite a big splodge, love that word again, splodge, into this clear resin. And then I'm just going to mix it up thoroughly. There we go. Using my popsicle stick or stir stick, just add it up. Now, this bit has been sped up. I have not had an attack of the crazies. We had to speed this up because this took me a long time. So just talking you through here what I'm doing, I'm just taking the pre-mixed resin and pigments and mica powders, and I'm going to make a very pretty pattern with them in this lovely big, almost like a flower shaped mould, isn't it? The edge is a nice sort of scalloped edge. So there's that beautiful brown. So we use the sagey green colour first, then the brown, and currently just, yeah, putting it all over the other bits of the mould, which I didn't want. So I'm just trying to remove them with a bit of wet wipe, and a stir stick. But yeah, no, I've never done this before, this technique, so it was all very new to me. I've seen some videos, like I'm sure lots of us have had, on Instagram, and I thought, do you know what, I'd love to be able to do that. Let's have a go. Well, my thought process was, I thought, quite good. Didn't quite work though. So what I put down in that was, I'm just putting down some of the resin with the PowerShell in it, little pieces. But before that, I put down the resin that's got the crushed glass in it. And it was really interesting, the effects that started to have on the resin, that it was then touching the brown and that beautiful green. It almost went a bit sort of like mottled looking, but that's, you know, that's fine. I don't mind that. You know, absolutely fine. So I'm just going through adding all these lovely pieces of the PowerShell in. There we are. So just putting those in and dotting them around the piece, just to create a bit of interest, a bit of detail and a bit of interest. There we are. So I'm just going to continue using up the bits of PowerShell that are obviously mixed with the resin. The idea of mixing them into a little bit of clear resin first was to stop any little air bubbles attaching themselves to them, because you don't want little air pockets or little pockets of missing resin, which is what would happen if the resin cures with an air bubble in it, especially if it comes up to the surface and then it pops and the resin around it is already cured. You're going to have pieces missing. So what I'm using now, I'm going in with that beautiful Arteza mica powder. This was the moss green. Do you see what I mean about it is beautiful green colour, but the mica part, the golden sort of green mica, gives it quite a good shimmer. Now I'm not going to fill this mould all the way up to the top, because that would make the finished piece too thick and it would be quite difficult to do what we need to do with it. So again, I'm just going into different places, filling up. We are. I'm going in with a bit of the white now. Now this white is very good apparently if you want to use it if you do blooms. We are yet to master the art of blooms and the beautiful flowers that I've seen people doing, but we're going to have a few more little practices. We don't normally practice things before we bring them to you in a video, but for that sort of thing I think you really need to have a bit more of a practice before we do try and show you them. And then and then you'll see us using this lovely white pigment paste again. So you can't see it because unfortunately it's scanned out, it's zoomed out too far on here, but we are getting a bit of where the PowerShell is. It's not just sitting in clear resin, it's got that bits of crushed glass in it. It is creating a mottled like effect. We are just filling in all the little spaces that I had left, and unsuccessfully also dribbling the resin over some of the rest of the mould, but that's okay. I really do love this green. But you know what? I'm looking at this and here I'm going to think about food again. It's getting up to that time of day over here in the UK when I'm doing this voiceover and I'm thinking, what should we have for dinner? I'm looking at that thinking, mint choc chip ice cream. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. There we go. We haven't got any either, which is slightly depressing, but never mind. Never mind. Right. So I'm going in now with a thin, this is like those wooden coffee stir sticks I'm using. Obviously you can use whatever you feel more comfortable using. And I'm just putting that beautiful gold resin in here. I mean, obviously you don't have to use these colours. You can use any colours you want to. Gold with purple, with a pink or black. Oh my gosh, that would look great. And yeah, I mean, totally up to you what you decide to do and what colours you decide to use and whether or not you decide to go in with all this lovely detail that I'm doing, which you can't see in the finished piece. So there's a little bit of a heads up there. You definitely can't see it in the finished piece, but never mind. Yeah, there we go. It's a shame in a way because there's a lot of effort put into it. But the finished pieces, and I said it again, plural, are stunning. Absolutely stunning. So here we are. We're just adding it in where I think it needs to be. Now, some of you may have seen some acrylic pouring artists doing this in some of their videos where they go in afterwards and they're doing, adding a few little items, a few little details just to draw your eye to things, to highlight how beautiful the piece is and so on. And it really reminded me of some acrylic pouring pieces that I've done, not that I haven't videoed any of them, but things that I have done in the past. And yeah, it just reminded me of that, how that you think, now could it just do with a little something else? The only problem I have is knowing when to stop. When do you stop? That's the issue. But I continued on because I noticed, and I think I come back to it afterwards as well, the pieces that I'd done here, you can see a beautiful gold, almost like ribboning effect that I'm doing. A ribboning effect, is that such a word? It sinks down into the resin. Not a problem, but do you know, at this point I really thought it was going to stay how it was, but it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. So, continued on. Decided that actually I've got a little bit of clear resin there. I was a bit concerned at this point that the lovely little bits of PowerShell there might be floating on the surface of the resin. So I was just trying to cover them with some more of the clear, just to make sure that they were completely covered. There we are. So that's all I'm doing there, with a bit of the clear resin on the stirring spatula, and then just adding it over the places where I had put those lovely little pieces of shell. Now, this is a whole 24 hours. I actually waited a whole no, I tell a lie. This is 12 hours later. This is the following day. Now, this is what I did with the leftover resin. Now, as you can see from my main piece, everything has done what I thought it might do, but I was hoping it wouldn't, and everything has just almost pulled into the center as the resin is cured, but that's okay. To be honest, I really don't mind. We will see. We're going to take it out. You can see how flexible it is. Yeah. And we're going to turn it over and have a look. Now it's getting stuck. All the mold is getting stuck to my little silicone mat underneath. But look at that. I mean, I love the way the colours have mixed. And this is it on the other side. Now, the big decisions. Do I use that as the outside of the bowl or the inside of the bowl? So difficult. And I'm going to put it in that bowl I've just shown you there, and it's going to create a form from that. So this is where you just have to be a bit patient and manipulate it. So I decided to put that on the inside. So that was when you're looking at a mould when it's curing, that's the side that you could see uppermost. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just pushing it down into this bowl. Now resin will not stick to this bowl. And now I spent quite a bit of time manipulating it. Now go careful when you do this, because you can crack and split the resin, and you don't want to do that. You really don't want to do that. So I'm trying to give almost like a flower sort of shell, like an open cupped flower shape to this. And as I said, it did take a little bit of manipulation. Obviously you do this as much or as little as you want. You don't have to have this kind of shape if you don't want to. You could try and put it in an oval shaped bowl. You could try and put it in a bowl that was big enough so that it just went completely flat sided, you know, without any of these lovely little scallopy pieces to it. But it's just totally up to you, as I said, you know, how you do this. Now, you can probably see to the right of me, those I showed you very briefly, those two coasters. I did exactly the same technique as I had done with this bigger bowl piece, but again, got the same problem with the resin. It all just merged into the centre. Now, what you do need to do, once you are happy with the shape, you need to protect your resin, protect the cured, semi-cured piece. Now, this is just a bin liner, like a pedal bin liner in. I then put a load of bubble wrap at the bottom, and then you put a heavy object. So this is an almost empty resin bottle, and I thought it would probably be heavy enough to do. Now, I put that to one side to leave it to cure. Now, this bit's been sped up because it took me a while. I'm just demoulding these. Look at that. These beautiful coasters. So these are in coaster shape moulds. They got the fluted edge shape like the bigger mould that we've used. Unfortunately, one is a little bit thicker than the other, but I love these. Now, my intention was to use these two clear plastic bowls here and do exactly the same thing as I'd done with the bigger bowl. But as I think you're about to see, it doesn't quite go to plan. Oh dear. So pushing that down, it just wasn't right. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And I was just, yeah, all the time at this point thinking, now what am I going to use? What am I going to use? What am I going to use? What have I got that I can use? Because we don't use those bowls for eating. Don't use your bowls that you use every day for eating food out of to do this with. Now, I tried these two. These are ramekin dishes that we don't use. Again, I don't think it's not going to do what I want it to do. This was actually getting to be quite infuriating then at this point. And I don't like trying to do crafting and creating things when you start feeling like that. So I put those to one side. I thought, nope. What have I got? So at this point I got up and, believe it or not, yes, I went over to the dishwasher to see what was in there was clean, that I could use, that I knew that we wouldn't use for eating food out of. And I know that we've got, I could only find one of them, and it's these bowls here. There we go. I could only find one. I've no clue where all the others have gone. We've got 4 of them somewhere. But I remembered we'd done this before with a lovely blue and white marble effect set that we did, where we did a similar thing. We made a large bowl. We made some small, what I want to call nibble type bowls that you put crisps and nuts and things, or maybe a few like wrapped sweets in. And we also made some beautiful large dinner placemats with. Now, I've done exactly the same thing with these 2 smaller ones. I've put in some, I put in some plastic, bits of bin liner, clean bin liner, and then some heavyweights on top. I left them then for 2 days, 2 whole days. And as you can see, they've not stuck to the bowls, thank goodness. And they have kept their shape. So, we're just going to take them out. It's moving around quite well, thank goodness. But it has kept its shape. It's just like a little freeform bowl. It's quite solid. Can you see that with that beautiful crushed glass? So yeah, it's quite solid. It's a little bit thicker than I would have liked. Same with this one. Again, this is a different shape because it's a different style of bowl that I've put it into. But look, that one's just a bit different there. But look at that effect. So you've got the little bits of gold in there after all. They give a little highlight to it, to its already, to its beauty already. Now, at this point, I'm just thinking now, shall I edge these with my lovely gold pen that I like or not? Now, before I do that, I'm going to take this beautiful big bowl out. Is it going to stick or not? No. Oh, no. It's actually it's not stuck to the bowl, which is good. Haven't used this bowl before to do this either. It was all, a lot of chances taken with this. But look at that on the outside. Do you see what I mean about that PowerShell? Yeah. Maybe I should have done that as the inside, but I still like it. I still really like this bowl. Now, I'm just feeling all around the top edges of this to see if there are any sharp places. And if there are, I'm probably going to use the deburring tool. There we go, the deburring tool, just to take the sharpness off of those edges. Because that's the other thing with resin. If you don't fill right up to the top of the mould, you can get that little sharp lip. Now, this is a bit difficult to show you. And it also doesn't help the fact that it isn't a straight side. It's not flat. It's not something that I can do that's flat. It's sort of very, very shaped and scalloped edged and so on. But you can see what's happening. You've got that very carefully just taking it across the tops of those edges of the resin bowl there, just to get rid of the little bit of sharpness. There we go. So I continue to do that all around the top of the bowl. Sorry, this is zoomed in quite a bit just so you can see. It can be a bit tricky getting to grips and using the deburring tool, but you know, I've been using this for quite a long time now and persevered, and I finally think I've cracked it. I've got the hang of it. So it doesn't feel quite so alien anymore when I'm trying to use it. Of course, you don't have to use a deburring tool. You can use an emery board or nail file, just very, very gently around the surface. Now, I'm going to use my favourite brand of, I'm going to call it mirror chrome effect, sort of sheen effect pens. There's by Deco Colour. This is the thinner nibbed one. They do a chisel, a leaf and a ribbon, I think. I'm not completely sure. But we order ours from a place called, I think it's called U Studio. U as in the letter U, Studio. We did used to order from Amazon for these, but that's the chisel point width one, and whenever we try and reorder from them, they seem to always be telling us it's going to take a month before it comes through to you, and we're quite impatient and we're almost running out of this, so we have sourced it from an alternative supplier. But as you can see, I was just going round the top edge of the bowl there. I did continue and do around all the rest of the edge off camera, and this is one of the bowls which I'm also going to do the same thing. Now, when you first start using this sort of pen, obviously take the lid off, have a piece of paper separate to where you are, and just press down with the nib a couple of times if you're using this sort of pen. It encourages the paint to flow through the tip and get to the bit where it will come out. So that was one of the bowls. I just showed you a bit of the edge there, and then this is the other one. And I just make sure that I go all the way around the edge. It just gives it a bit of a highlight, and it also helps link in and picks up with that little bit of gold mica that we mixed in with the resin that is running through the project that you get every now and then. So here we're doing a little bit of a flyby of what the top edge of the bowl, the big bowl, looks like, and the two smaller ones there. Really like that. You might need to go over them a couple of times. Make sure you leave them a good day or two to dry out. It does dry out very quickly, but you know, leave them to dry completely. There we are, look, and another little close up, hoping that you're getting some better shots also of the bowl itself there. Little see-through patches with the PowerShell and things, and the outside. So we're coming up to the end shots here. So this is the bowl on its own. I think this is absolutely stunning. gorgeous. Oh, look at that flash of gold mica there, like little bits of gold glitter, and the shell and the beautiful chocolatey caramelly brown colours with the beautiful shades of green and the white as well. Just all complements. The colours really complement one another really well. You could also do this in more of your warm orange, red and russety sort of colour tones for more autumn feels and pumpkins and so on. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up button. Give us a like, give us a share, drop a comment. What colours would you use? Have you enjoyed the video or not? Are you liking the longer videos? We aren't going to do a lot more of these, but you know, we want to show you the whole process of these things now. So don't forget, we upload 3 times a week. We're going to have a couple of special videos for during the Halloween theme season, which we're starting very soon. And thanks again, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.